Disinherited or not? That's the question at the center of the inheritance battle over the estate of former Nyeri governor, the late Nderitu Gachagua. His first wife, Margaret Nyokafe, and some of her children say they were locked out and even petitioned President William Ruto to intervene. But what does the will actually say? For weeks now, the dispute has spilled into the public with serious allegations, among them that former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua interfered with or even forged the will.
Wewe ambaye unaibia mjane, unamuibia yatima, unaibia ndugu yako akikufa kwa kitanda, wewe unatuambia mambo ya wizi za ngapi? Unatuambia mambo ya wizi kwa kupeleka wapi?
On the other side, members of the wider Gachagua family insist the will is valid and has been followed to the letter.
Nilimwambia Kasongo alikuwa anaongea mambo ya will of my late brother. Kamwambia hiyo will is a very good will. Inasoma pale Kenya School of Law of how to make a good will when you have a complicated family. My brother had a complicated family. So he did a will that took care of everybody so that there is peace. And there has been peace for 9 years mpaka Kasongo ameingilia.
So we went beyond the claims and looked at the will itself and how the estate was shared. The will is 9 pages long and very specific. It outlines exactly how property, money, and assets were to be distributed. A house in Karen went to Margaret Nyokafe, the first wife. 2 other homes in Karen and Nyeri went to the second wife, Margaret Waithegeni. The ancestral home was shared between 2 sons, Kenneth Gachagua and Jason Kariuki, and shares in Mwega homes went to Rigathi Gachagua. Everything else was to be sold, debts cleared first, then the balance shared. After clearing over 1 billion shillings in debt, about 648 million shillings remained. This was distributed using a fixed formula, with the largest share going to the immediate family. Now, back to the disinheritance claim. 4 of Nderitu's children, Susan Kirego, Mercy Wanjira, Kenneth Gachagua, and Jason Kariuki, each received about 64.8 million shillings. That includes children from Margaret Nyokafe's side. Margaret Nyokafe herself received about 32.4 million shillings. On top of that, the house in Karen and 3 apartment units in Lang'ata, Nairobi. Her children, including the 4 named, each received 7 apartment units. So both in cash and property, there's a clear allocation. Meanwhile, the second wife, Margaret Waithegeni, received 2 houses, 32.4 million shillings, and 3 apartment units. And Rigathi Gachagua, other than the shares in Mwega homes, 32.4 million shillings and 3 apartment units, similar to the widows. Now, let's break down the cars because this part is very specific. 13 vehicles were listed as part of the estate and they were allocated to individual beneficiaries. Starting with the children, Susan Kirego received 2 high-end vehicles, a Range Rover Vogue and a Toyota Land Cruiser. Kenneth Gachagua was allocated a Mitsubishi Pajero and a Nissan Primera. Now to the widows, Margaret Waithegeni, the second wife, received 2 luxury vehicles, a Mercedes-Benz S350 and a BMW 730i. Margaret Nyokafe, the first wife, received 3 vehicles, a Mitsubishi Canter, a Mitsubishi L200 pickup, and a Mitsubishi Outlander. Then to Rigathi Gachagua, he was allocated an Isuzu FVZ truck. So, this is where the contradiction comes in. On one hand, Margaret Nyokafe and some of her children say they were disinherited and have even sought intervention from President William Ruto. On the other, the will and its execution show they received money, property, and assets. At the same time, allegations still hang over Rigathi Gachagua with claims he influenced the process. But the wider family insists everything was done legally.
These women had all that chances. They never complained. But But most of all, they took or acquired the properties, even issued in the will. Yet they are coming to say that thing was forged. Legally, if something is forged, you can't take it.
And there's one more twist. The will itself warns any beneficiary who challenges the distribution risks losing their entire share.
The family is totally disappointed in what she did, and we are demanding a public apology from her. A public apology from her. And if she does not publicly apologize to the family will disown them.
So, were they truly disinherited, or is this a dispute over how the wealth was shared? That's the million-dollar question.